Hello and welcome to today's European SharePoint Office 365 and Azure Community webinar. My name is Orla and I'm delighted to be joined by Alicia Liu, Product Manager, Microsoft USA, who'll be talking to you today about how to build collaborative apps with Microsoft Teams and Microsoft 365 services. Remember to join in the conversation about today's webinar on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @EuropeanSP and our hashtag is ESPC22. Don't forget to check out the Resource Centre. This is updated daily with the latest blogs, ebooks, webinars, and how-to videos. Simply visit sharepointeurope.com and click the content link at the top. Microsoft Teams Week is kindly sponsored by Mind Manager. Mind Manager provides visual productivity tools and mind mapping software that takes you and your organization to where you want to be. Find out more at mindmanager.com. Continue your Teams learning by joining us for our next webinar. Improved collaboration on Microsoft Teams with Mind Manager with Joel Averheim, tomorrow, September 15th at 1 p.m. CEST. Find out more at sharepointeurope.com/your guide to Microsoft Teams. Our ESPC22 early bird sale is now on. Save €200 on 3- and 4-day tickets. Find out more at sharepointeurope.com, but hurry as this sale ends on the 29th of September. Why should you attend ESPC22? Watch the video on our homepage to hear pre-event insights from Jeff Tieper, President of Collaborative Apps and Platform at Microsoft. Check it out now at sharepointeurope.com. We're delighted to announce the return of the ESPC Community Awards. The awards represent and recognise the best projects, people and teams in Europe. The aim of the ESPC Awards is to reward those in the Microsoft 365 and Azure space for their hard work, innovation and dedication. Enter before September 14th, so end of the day today, and share your story of your successes, recognise the efforts of you and your team, and perhaps most importantly, help the community learn from your experience. Find out more at sharepointeurope.com/ESPC22 awards. After the webinar, we will have a questions and answers session. Type any question you have in the questions window. Questions will be selected and answered at the end of the presentation. This webinar will be recorded and added to the Resource Centre, where you'll be notified by email when it's available. And now I'm going to pass you over to our presenter, Alicia. Hello, Alicia.
Hi, thank you so much. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it now. Thanks, Alicia.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Building Collaborative Apps with Microsoft Teams session. I'm Alicia Liu. I'm a product manager here at Microsoft, and I specifically work on the M365 platform. I'm excited by all things data and also really excited about enabling developers to build collaborative experiences for their end users. So thanks so much for having me. So I expect that many of you, like me, are starting to return to the office after 2 years of largely remote work. So things are definitely different. Suddenly hybrid is not just a buzzword, it's here to stay. And it's something that we're all living every time we go to work, wherever we go to work. We're also making new rules, new schedules, and new spaces. With that means that we also need to make new apps that help us collaborate in the world of hybrid work. Apps that reimagine how people get things done in different places, on different devices, at different times. With so many opportunities to build new solutions or rebuild existing ones, it's a pretty amazing time to be an app developer. My colleagues and I are building a lot of cool stuff, or at least stuff we sure think is cool, to help you reimagine or maybe even reinvent collaboration in the hybrid workplace. Today, I'll be showing you some of the amazing things we're doing with Teams extensibility, so you can build once and enable contextually appropriate collaboration. And furthermore, tap into new users, those who are spending lots of time working in Outlook and Office too. And of course, everything that you see in this session is either generally available or available in preview for you to explore. So let's get started. So at Ignite last year, we announced the preview of a new Teams SDK and manifest that looked a little different than their predecessors. Why is this? Because you could use them to build Teams apps that could also work in Outlook and Office.com. So today, we're really excited to announce that both the SDK and manifest we shared in preview are now generally available. So as a developer, that means that when you update your SDK reference to Teams.js v2 and your manifest to at least version 1.13, you'll be able to extend your existing Teams apps to Outlook and Office.com on web and Windows, with mobile to follow later this calendar year, which is super exciting. Your Teams apps may support a multitude of capabilities, including channel tabs, personal tabs, messaging extensions, meeting extensions, and more. And so as we thought about extending these capabilities, the notion of contextual relevance became top of mind for us. And you'll see it reflected across the board, including the way that we've designed and organized the APIs in this new SDK. And so with that guiding principle, we've chosen personal tabs and search-based message extensions as the first set of capabilities to extend beyond Teams to Outlook and Office.com. So for example, you can see how one of our partners, SurveyMonkey, has used the new SDK to build an app that extends a personal tab into different contexts. Of course, Teams, the heart of workplace collaboration, but also Outlook, our essential communications app, and Office.com, where SurveyMonkey users can quickly find and create personal or shared content. So today, you can take advantage of the new SDK and manifest that are generally available. And you have the ability to specify that you want these app capabilities to run in additional M365 host or Surface apps. You can also run full-scale pilots with preview users in Outlook and Office.com, allowing you to prepare for GA distribution later this calendar year. You'll also be glad to know that we built backwards compatibility into this evolution, basically promising a frictionless update. Even with these updates, all your existing in-market Teams experiences will continue to run as is in Teams with full production level support. Your developer experience will remain unchanged as our documentation, tooling, feedback channels, and code repository have been updated to support extended apps. And so from a distribution standpoint, you'll be able to distribute both single tenant and multi-tenant apps using existing Teams experiences. All this is to say that we have become very intentional in honoring your in-market investments and minimizing change management. And this is true for not only Teams apps, but also your existing add-in investments in Outlook. So we will fully support add-ins for Outlook and Word, Excel, and PowerPoint in the same model with built-in backward compatibility later this year. And you can explore the new add-in manifest for Outlook in Dev Preview today. And last year at Build, we also announced the launch of message extensions in Outlook in Developer Preview. And now we're happy to announce the public preview of search-based messaging extensions, which allows users to search for content from external sources and embed it in email as rich interactive cards. So let's take a look at how Mural, one of our early adoption partners, extended their Teams apps personal tabs and search-based message extensions to other Microsoft host apps to power a real-world scenario. All right, so in our demo, Gabby is starting her workflow for a new project in Office.com. She opens the Mural application, which takes her to a helpful Mural template that she's already prepared to kick off a new project with her team. So she needs to work on some of the content by herself in the Mural before sharing with her team. So she goes to a specific section and finishes the content. Now she knows she wants to send it to her colleague, Dan. She goes to Outlook to write him an email, and she can use a search-based message extension to insert the same Mural directly into the message to Dan. This puts an interactive adaptive card into the message, which Dan can use to open the Mural. Now Gabby goes back into the Mural, this time in her Outlook, and continues working asynchronously to keep the project moving forward. Next, she needs to share the Mural with the rest of her team members for the project. So she navigates to Teams, and in the channel for her project, she includes the Mural again using a search-based message extension. She can tag the team in the message to get people's attention, and every recipient will see a clear call to action that says View Mural. And so when they see that, they'll be taken directly into the Mural app where they can view Gabby's mural, collaborate visually, and contribute ideas. Gabby wants to build a little bit of excitement and encouragement for the team. So finally, she goes and adds an encouraging message saying that we've got this. And so with Mural in Microsoft 365, you can take ideas from imagination to activation for more connected teams, no matter how or where they work. So that was great. And we can't wait to see what you and other developers are going to build. I do want to take a moment to recognize that in addition to Mural, we've been fortunate to work with 8 other partners who have been instrumental in trying out our early bits and giving us feedback, allowing us to hit our first developer-facing milestone today. So a huge thank you to all of these partners for your support. And finally, if you're curious about the deeper details of the new and improved SDK and want to learn and hear from our engineers about relevant changes, our approach to refactoring APIs, or how to use the SDK to create contextually relevant experiences, I encourage you to check out on-demand sessions titled Deep Dive into Teams JS SDK v2 for extending Teams apps to Outlook and Office.com. And there's also documentation available online in the Microsoft Docs. So the apps we build are intended to be useful, and we've done a lot of work to ensure that you can distribute these extended Teams apps to your users and customers. And so to make this happen, we're bringing the same new store experience built for Teams to Outlook and Office.com, where users can discover and use the wonderful experiences that you'll be building. So users will be able to get to the store experience from the app flyout available here on the left. The store will automatically list only those apps that are relevant to each host M365 app that the user is in. You'll notice that the experience is scaled back to support an initial set of personal apps and message extensions. We'll eventually be lighting up the editorial and intelligent experiences available in the Teams store within Outlook and Office.com and apply that to existing Outlook add-ins as well, all to help get the right apps in front of the right user. And you'll see here that when a user selects an app, they can see relevant information, including its capabilities and the host M365 apps where it will be functional. And so by clicking Add, the user can start using the app in any host apps where it's functional. So I invite you to upgrade to Teams.js SDK v2 and App Manifest v1.13 to get feedback from preview users of Outlook and Office.com. In turn, please give us feedback so we can continue to make improvements that support your needs as an M365 or Teams developer. And finally, I've just got one more thing to cover. So if you've got a really good memory, you might recall that in addition to showing you the preview, Microsoft Teams SDK, and Manifest at Ignite, we also showed Microsoft Loop components, always live actionable experiences that you can embed across Microsoft 365, starting with Microsoft Teams and Outlook. We also know that many of you have built search-based message extensions that can insert adaptive cards into team chats and now Outlook emails. Today, we want to show you how you can transform adaptive cards into Loop components. So let's start with a demo. One of our partners, Zoho, is transforming the static adaptive card found in its Service Desk plus Cloud Message extension into a Loop component. The new adaptive card-based Loop component has actionable content, enabling customers to make quick updates without switching context. And changes made in the Loop component stay in sync as it's copied and pasted across Teams and Outlook. Zoho is making this change to help its customers improve incident response times, reduce outage durations, and improve overall performance against SLAs. So here's how it works. Can everyone, I'm not sure if people can hear my video or hear my audio on this one, can they?
I can't hear anything anyway. Do you want to give it another?
No worries, I can just talk through it. So a service outage is detected, and Adi, the incident commander at Contoso, has created a ticket for the incident in Zoho SDP. So Adi then copies the link into his team's group chat with the on-call technician Darren from the incident response team. The link then unfurls into a Microsoft Loop component, allowing them to take quick actions right within their chat. Darren then updates the status to in progress directly in the Loop component and copies the component to his chat with Serena, the service reliability engineer, where they troubleshoot reliability issues. Serena adds a comment on the component, and since Loop components are always live, everyone in the chat sees the latest updates, which are also flowing back to Zoho's own SaaS app. Darren then implements the fix with Serena's input, and once he's resolved the fix, he updates the incident status to resolved. Meanwhile, Adi receives an email from his CIO requesting an update. And so one great option Adi has is to simply copy and paste the Loop component from Teams, maintaining a single source of truth across Teams and Outlook. But since he's in Outlook already, Editor, which uses Context IQ, recommends the Zoho message extension, allowing Adi to seamlessly retrieve the same Loop component with relevant incident information. So Context IQ is a new set of capabilities available across the Microsoft portfolio. In products like Editor, you can use Context IQ by simply typing the @ symbol to discover content, people, and information relevant to you while staying in the flow of your work. As you can see, Zoho's Loop component enabled the team at Contoso to easily share relevant information and address the incident quickly, all while staying focused on their work stream. Zoho projects, GitHub, and Dynamics 365 have similarly updated their message extensions to generate adaptive card-based Loop components that boost their customers' productivity with actions like changing the due date to align with the updated schedule of a Zoho project's task, commenting on an ongoing GitHub issue, or updating the estimated revenue of a sales opportunity in Dynamics 365. And as we saw earlier, this enables customers to share content across Teams and Outlook while always staying in sync. So we invite you to join the developer private preview to evolve your message extension and create your first Loop component. And so be sure to subscribe to the M365 Dev blog or follow us on Twitter for updates as the developer preview becomes available. And the full end user experience with portability across Teams desktop and mobile, Outlook web, and Win32 will come later this year. And thank you so much for your time. And I think now I'll open it up for questions.
Okay, thanks, Alicia. As Alicia said, it is time to ask questions. If you have a question, type it into the questions window and I'll call it out. We do have one or two questions here. What benefits do these changes to the Teams JS SDK mean for me as a dev? Anything other than personal apps?
Yeah, so other than personal apps, if developers have built, like we said in the presentation, search-based message extensions in Teams, then they can use the latest version of the manifest to extend them to Outlook on web and Windows to preview audiences. And updating to the version 2 of the SDK is frictionless in that we've ensured that developers can expect to see their in-market Teams apps running as is and continue to receive production level support in Teams. We're also moving to a much faster release cycle, and you can expect to see monthly releases in the near future. So by updating your SDK reference to Teams JS v2, developers can rest assured that they have access to the latest and greatest features that the SDK supports. And plus, moving forward, while we will continue to support Teams JS v 1.12, we will not be adding any new features or functionalities to it. The latest version of the SDK, they also has a new capability model, which is essentially a logical grouping of functionalities that it supports that, again, makes contextually relevant sense for different user scenarios that app developers want to enable on different platforms. And I can talk a little bit more about this if people have follow-up questions.
Okay, so another question. So if I'm a Microsoft Teams developer already, how can I flip it to show up in other M365 host apps?
Yeah, so if you already have an existing Teams apps, then you just have to follow a few steps, which are all listed in our Microsoft Docs. So you'll need to upgrade your Teams developer manifest schema version to 1.13. And so if you have used Teams Toolkit to create your personal app, you can also use it to validate the changes to your manifest file and identify any errors. You can also run the upgrade teams manifest command, and the changes will be made in place. Otherwise, you can just run it manually. You'll also have to update your SDK reference to Teams.js version 2 or higher. And so developers can actually use Teams Toolkit to help identify and automate the optional code modernization changes. There's a couple more steps that have to do with authentication and some content security policy headers, but this is all documented online. And basically, the final step to running your app in Office and Outlook is to sideload your updated personal tab app package in Microsoft Teams. And after it's sideloaded, your personal app should be available to preview in Outlook and Office. So it's just making sure that everything is up to date and utilizing the Teams toolkit to sideload.
Okay, thanks, Alicia. So if I'm a SharePoint framework developer, can I build personal apps with SPFX and have it show in these hubs?
So actually not yet, but we have strong customer signals that indicate that support for SPFX apps is a popular request. So it is on our roadmap, and we do expect to make announcements about it towards the end of the year.
Okay, thank you. Are there particular JS codes I can use to know which host I'm running with? Any special things a host can do over another?
Yeah, so the name of the host that your app is running in is exposed as a host name property on the context interface. And so that can be queried at runtime by calling getContext. And so the best practice is actually to use the host name mechanism pretty sparingly. And so you don't want to use the host name to check for certain functionalities for whether or not they're available in a host. You should actually be using the is supported function to check for capability support. However, you do want to use hostname to differentiate the theme of your application based on the host that it's running in. So for example, you can use Microsoft Teams Purple as the main accent color when running in Teams, and Outlook Blue when running in Outlook. So just to make sure that it makes contextually relevant sense for your app. You can also use hostname to differentiate messages shown to the user based off of which host it's running in. So for example, you can show manage your tasks in Office when running in Office on the web, and manage your tasks in Teams when running in Teams. And so there will always be really special things that one host can do over the other. And so Teams, for example, is the heart of collaboration, while Office.com helps you find and create content that is most meaningful to you as an individual. And so our capability model recognizes and reflects the unique value that each host app is designed for through host-specific and host-agnostic capabilities. And so authentication, for example, is a host-agnostic capability, while chat and mail are host-specific capabilities. So you can see why, like, for example, Office.com would have no use for the mail capability, while for Outlook, of course, this is very relevant.
Okay, thank you. Finally, one final question. Does the Teams toolkit support this new manifest? Can I debug in these Microsoft 365 hosts?
Yeah, so the Teams toolkit supports both the manifest and the SDK. And so developers can use the F5 debug feature when testing in VS Code to debug in Outlook and Office on web. Leveraging the Teams toolkit is also really helpful for upgrading your manifest schemas and making sure that everything is up to date. It's really good at helping to automate the different code modernization changes.
Okay, thank you, Alicia. Well, that's all the questions we have. Thank you, Alicia, for being with us today. It was great to have you.
Thank you so much.
And thanks everybody for attending. That is it for this afternoon's webinar. And as usual, we will record it. It's being recorded and will be added to the Resource Centre. and I'll let you know when it's available. Thanks again, everybody. Take care and goodbye.